Okay, what's up, hungry homies? Today is our 90-day transformation series. We're going to be talking about nutrition and specifically what Jessica is going to be doing for macronutrients. Over the past couple weeks, so now we're about almost a month in to our transformation. I think getting there, 3 weeks-ish into the transformation right now. And she's given me examples of her diet throughout this, sending me what her macros are, protein, fats, carbs. And so I've sort of been compiling all of her meals, and what we've added up is now that she's roughly eating about 1,500 calories, which we all know is for how active she is, running around 2 jobs, training, 5 to 6 days a week. We definitely slowly need to increase that.
Yeah.
In this case, eating less calories is not necessarily going to help us lose weight. Being in a deficit, yes, but I believe that your deficit is probably way bigger than it should be right now. So we're gonna, for the first couple of weeks, we are gonna keep you at 1,500 calories. However, we're going to focus more on where those calories are. So what I'd like you to focus on: protein. I know you're a good protein eater. Jessica likes to drink her egg whites.
They're the best.
Don't understand that, but hey, there's different protein sources that she can choose from. But the rule of thumb really for protein for anyone is getting about body weight's worth of protein. So right now I'd love for you to be in the right, like the 165, 170 range for protein. So that's roughly 680 calories, 660 calories. So we'll hit that there. Carbohydrates, I'm going to probably hit around 130 grams a day. However, I'd like those carbs to be focused pre and post workout.
Yeah.
So you don't need a bunch of carbs at night. You're about to go to sleep. In the morning, I think is important, but like the snacks don't necessarily need to be high in carbs. Maybe some fruits, so some lower GI fruits and vegetables instead. So things that won't spike your blood sugar and make you have a crash and then make you want to like rebound with something else to eat. So keeping blood sugars even keel throughout the day, especially when you have long shifts, both at work and the nursing homes as well. So focusing on pre and post. So if you can get like 40 grams beforehand and 40 grams afterhand, that's 80 grams out of the day of the 130. Yeah. So the rest you can kind of slot in appropriately. If you can do more post-workout, like on a leg day or a back day, you're hitting a bigger body part, you could probably afford even 45 grams. So you can play around with those numbers as well. Your fats, ideally 20% of your... Jessica and we have previously chatted about her just from what she sent me. So it's probably a little higher on the fat side. And I mean, I don't blame her. Fat, salt, sugar, that's what tastes good, right? That's why we like a fatty steak. And that's like why we like cheese on things. And it feels good and it tastes good. So that's where the taste comes from. Unfortunately, they are higher in calories. So 1 gram fat is actually 9 calories. So it adds up a lot faster than carbs and protein, which are 4 calories per gram. So again, we're going to lower the fats just slightly down to about 20% of your 1,500. So we're kind of rounding around 300 calories of fats a day. So about 35 grams a day, which we can split up. So again, if bodybuilders say are trying to get super low in body fat, they're probably hitting like the 15, 16, maybe 17% range. So you're not far off. But if we keep it low, then we can kind of play with it and adding in a little bit more. So that's kind of where I want to start with the fats for you. Talking about quality sources of protein. You already have protein powder. You have a good New Zealand whey that I know you use. Your eggs and your egg whites. You're good about that. Chicken, turkey, lean ground beef, fish, A-OK, and seafood. For fish, be mindful of like your trouts and your salmons because they will be a little higher in fat. It's good fat.
I eat a lot of haddock.
That's my main thing. So there you go. So white fish, so it'll be a lot leaner. So you can afford to add maybe a little drizzle olive oil or carbohydrate. I say anything goes. So if you can work in your macros what you want to have, obviously there are things that will keep you feeling satiated and things that will not. So I'm not too concerned about that. But if you are, say, going to add a Pop-Tart, just be aware there's probably 10 grams of fat.
I don't think I've ever had one in my life.
You are missing out. If you can fit in a Rice Krispie square before a workout, that's fine. Things like that aren't going to... I believe that there's no bad calories necessarily. There are ones that will be productive, and there are ones that just taste good and are fun.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're able to balance the two, I think it makes for a much more manageable dieting experience.
Yep.
I know you aren't a big processed food eater anyway.
No.
But hell, if you feel like you want something fun, then do it and just track it. Yeah. So as long as you're tracking it and you can make it fit and maneuver all those macros, and just be like, if you're going to get a fun carb, just there's probably fun fats in there too. Fats, avocado, you already do. Yolks, well, just be mindful of how many, right? How many grams of fat are in the yolk. So usually around 6 to 7, depending on the size of the egg. Your turkey bacon, adding fats, not a big deal. A lot of the foods that you have will have some, but I still want you to make sure you're hitting those numbers. Supplementation, some things that we will benefit from, things like creatine for power and endurance.
I have that.
Good. So 10 grams a day.
Okay.
Right. Just toss that right.
Is there a certain time of day that you're supposed to?
Ideally, creatine should be taken around a workout.
Okay. That's what I've always heard. Or during the workout?
Yeah, you can sip on it during. But again, I'm just like, if you can remember to take it, you're like on the right track.
Yep.
Glutamine, fantastic for digestion and the DOMS. So feeling the delayed onset muscle soreness.
I feel that.
So things that will help with your performance. If you're able to lift longer, be stronger, be more powerful, like creatine provides, then you will put an exhaustion on your central nervous system as well as your muscles. So then you take glutamine, that will help reduce that.
Should that be taken at like the same time as that?
Again, you can take that whenever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just like an end day. So glutamine actually does exist in cabbage.
Okay.
So if you eat a lot of cabbage, although a lot of cabbage is going to be kind of gassy too.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you're hanging around. Greens product is great to have. It kind of is like the middleman for if you're not eating enough vegetables, and it provides you different vegetables. So benefits from a bunch of different stuff. Your protein powder, you're good. Whey isolate, even a whey blend is okay. Vitamin D, I think, is really important for also assimilating proteins and other nutrients in your body. When we live in Canada or in places that have shitty sun coverage or too much sun coverage like we are here, then that's important. B complex as well is just going to help you with energy and everything. I mean, there's a whole host of other things that you could be taking too, but those are like the simplest.
The ones that we're going to focus on.
Exactly. And they're just the easiest to find, really. Let's talk about our fun adult beverage consumption. So when and how often do you like to have that?
So since we started this, it's reduced a lot.
Yes.
So I'm having probably about 5 to 7 a week.
Okay. Since reducing that amount, how have you felt?
I felt actually a lot better.
Yeah.
It's easier for workouts. It's just easier all around. Easier on my patients.
Yeah. So what I'm going to teach you to do is we're going to basically track our macros backwards. So I'm going to allow you your glass of wine or scotch or whatever, vodka, water, whatever you want to have. But we're going to put that in first.
Okay.
So that means the remaining macronutrients is going to be the good ones.
Now, do you still want me to hit the 1500 with these, with the one drink?
So what's going to happen is that you're going to have to take away something.
Okay, I get it.
So there's going to be some sacrifices made because we can't have everything.
No.
It's kind of like working a really busy job. You know the pay is going to be great, but you're going to sacrifice a lot of your time and mental energy. So it's the same thing here. So you have to kind of like play a little game. So what I would do is I would choose between fats or carbs to take away from.
Okay.
If that means you have to take, right, we're going down to whatever, 74 calories there. If you're like, okay, that's the sacrifice I have to make. And then depending on how many you have, when we take away, we're going to be taking away from carbs or fats. So just pick one. And for that day, you'll have to sacrifice a little bit, but I think it's the easiest. So for me, for example, I love to have my creamy ice cream at night. So that's a non-negotiable at the moment.
Okay.
So I put that in first and then everything else kind of falls into place. Now my coach has given me like numbers to hit each meal. So I mostly follow that. If I have too many carbs, say I'm really hungry and I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to have to take this carb out of meal 4 to put it into meal 3. Like
so you're barring from
I'm taking one, but I'm still in the range of my macros. And when I say in the range, up 5 or below 5 is okay.
Okay.
Those are your key takeaways.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
When you were talking about the fruit being ideal low GI, what?
So like,
Let's talk about-
don't spike your blood sugar a ton. Okay. So berries, for the most part, are going to be pretty low. I think things like melon, watermelon, are good for that. Watermelon's great because it's super, I'm going to say it's super wet, which is a terrible way to describe it. It's just full of water.
It's made of water. It's like kiwi.
Kiwi's good, very high. It's like 200% vitamin C.
Yeah, I love my kiwi.
Yeah.
I have like 2 a day.
I think those might be a little higher on the GI. It's fine.
Yep.
I'm just saying, if you're going, like, ideally in a perfect world, you'll be doing like berries. But I'm perfectly happy with, you know what to eat. I think it's always I believe everyone knows how to eat. We aren't stupid. Like, we know the difference between a Big Mac and like a salad with, a good quality protein. So people know how to eat. I think people are just misguided.
People eat for pleasure versus
for purpose. And I mean, I think there is a balance. There can be balance between the two. I think it's just people just need to know how to separate it. So when I provide you with your macronutrients, I'll still give you all your options, and then that way you can like slot in what you want. I think it will be harder for you for a little bit because I think you were eating just slightly under 1,500 on some days.
Yes.
But if we keep hitting the 1,500 consistently for maybe a week to 2 weeks, I think you'll notice some differences.
Yeah.
All right, this has been a really quick just chit chat with Jessica about how we're going to be managing and organizing her macronutrients, some of the foods that I'd prefer her to eat over others. In the meantime, if you are looking for creatine glutamine protein powder, I am an ambassador of All Max Nutrition. So if you use Alyssa 15 on their website, you will save money, and that also supports me, which is really important. Also, if you are liking what Jessica is doing, please give her a shout out. I'd love to see some hashtags #GoJessGo in any one of the comments. Do you feel it gives you motivation when people...
I definitely read them all. I do.
She reads the comments. So give her a little shout out. Tell her how awesome and beautiful she is. And we'll go from there. We're going to keep running through this 90-day transformation. In the meantime, if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, but subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're liking all the videos. Comment #GoJessGo. And we're going to keep this train rolling into the 90 days. Thanks, y'all.
So, like, don't forget to hashtag. Can you do that?
Yes, I can.